Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Well, it's 2022, and before too long, you're going to have to deal with your income taxes. That's right, April 15th is just around the corner. Now, a lot of people don't have a tax preparer, or their tax preparer retired last year, or something happened. There's a lot of movement in various industries. So, how do you choose a tax preparer? Well, I think you start with looking at a tax preparer's background, right? Find out what specific tax training or test a person has passed. Research what the letters after the preparer's name actually mean. Determine the exams and continuing education the preparer is doing. Does he or she belong to any professional organizations? Check for disciplinary actions with the preparer's licensing authority. Now, the IRS has a tool available called the Directory of Federal Tax Return Preparers with credentials and select qualifications. This tool can help you start your search by showing you tax professionals in your area. You can also find out more information at irs.treasury.gov. Another question to ask is, do you have a PTIN? That's a Preparer Tax Identification Number. An advisor preparing a tax return for compensation needs to have this number. Now, do you have knowledge in fill the blank? What do I mean by that? I mean, does the tax preparer work in the area that you need the most help in? So let's say you own a bunch of properties that you're renting out. Well, working with a tax preparer that has done that for other people in the past could be more beneficial than one that doesn't. What about the particular state or locality where someone is living? Unlike federal income taxes, states have their own set of rules. You'll need a preparer to help you navigate these. This is especially true for business owners. You may have real estate outside of your state of residence. Maybe you are the beneficiary of a trust in another state. All these situations may require special knowledge. The other question is, how do you set your fee? Are the preparer's prices based upon the complexity of the tax situation? Or is the price determined based upon the tax schedules that may need to be filed? Are the fees charged by the preparer by the hour? Avoid preparers who base their fee on a percentage of your refund, though, however. Now, do you sign my return is another question to ask the preparer. Now, the individual preparing the return for review by a more experienced person, right, should sign the return. Keep in mind that this could help reduce fees as well, especially if you have a big firm and someone preparing the firm isn't a senior, but they can still do a good job. But ask the question, who will be preparing my return? What if I have any problems after the tax filing season ends? Some tax preparers are only seen during the filing season, and then they tend to disappear for the rest of the year. This isn't helpful if you have a question during the period. Make sure you know how to contact the preparer during this time or seek someone else. Can you help me if I get audited? That is a great question, because I certainly don't want to go to an IRS audit. I'd rather send my CPA. They're the professionals. They know what they did to prepare the return, and they can answer the questions. Remember that you are responsible, though, even though they do that, for the return, regardless of who prepares it or who represents you. Make sure that you are comfortable with the individual. After all, you are sharing sensitive financial information. Everything from your social security number, account numbers, and income are going to be known to the preparer. Make sure to review the return prior to signing and filing. You need to be comfortable with the information that is on your return. Finally, if after all of your diligence you have less than a stellar experience with a particular preparer, well, there is a way to take some action. You can report abusive or suspected fraud to the IRS using Form 14157, called the Return Preparer Complaint Form. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.